Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Nadia and this life is an adventure. So in today's quest, we're doing some more dumb stuff. The reason why I say we're doing more dumb stuff is because I decided to make a video outside. This is another thing I've been wanting to do. I say it's dumb because for the first time all week, it's a little bit warmer outside, the sun's out, but it's still freezing. It's fine because I wanted to do another video getting out of my comfort zone. Editing Nadia here, and I just wanted to say something really quick before I get into talking about all the things I talk about in this video. When I speak upon the things that I've spoke upon in this video, it sounds as if I'm trying to say that it's easy. And that's not at all what I'm trying to say. While being able to say all the things that I say confidently, I still have to fight against my flesh every day. I still have to fight and choose to be consistent on this journey. It's a journey of self-discipline and inner strength, and it's not an overnight thing, and that's not at all what I'm trying to imply in this video. I'm just trying my best to speak upon the things that I am still working on. I'm not saying I'm just accomplished all of this and I no longer have to do any inner work. I'm still working on these things as well. Know that before listening to this video, I ask that you listen and know that I'm not trying to sell you an idea that I don't even believe in myself. It isn't easy. It doesn't happen overnight, and there will be times where you fail to be consistent, and that is okay because we have all been there and we can all overcome that. So, like I've said a couple times now, I don't really have themes to my videos, but I feel it's appropriate to kind of do what I'm doing in my videos right now just because of the stage of life that I'm in. So for instance, with the last video, which I'm currently editing, and I'm like, obviously it's a video about comfort zones, so like I'm truly uncomfortable with posting the video because I know a lot of people are gonna be like, girl, what are you doing? And that's okay because that's kind of the point of the video. With that video, that was kind of me stepping into the energy that I was talking about in my last video before that, which is the energy of being confidently me. In order for me to be confident being me, I gotta be uncomfortable because I am a different kind of person. And everything I do is a representation of that. I feel like it's appropriate that I kind of work my way out of my comfort zone slowly with these videos that I'm doing. And also, like, the things that I'm doing truly aren't that, like, uncomfortable. I'm just not used to doing them. So of course when you're not used to doing something, it's going to make you uncomfortable a little bit. So with this video, I am outside sitting in the middle of the town I live in. It's the most busy spot where I live at. That's why I keep looking around, because I'm very observant of my surroundings, but also because it's awkward. I'm sitting here talking to a tripod. I just thought that would be appropriate for the, I would say, message of today's video. I don't know if y'all can hear that siren, but the kinds of things that I talk about in videos like this aren't even necessarily to just be telling my viewers like what to do or anything like that. I'm not really here to give advice. I mean, I can give advice just because of how far I've come in life, but it's not necessarily that I'm trying to give advice to anyone else. More like, it's important to be able to say things out loud. I just feel that me saying certain things would help move some people that maybe need it. Starting to, like, my whole body's freezing up, so if my lips are moving weird and stuff, it's because they're going numb. I also just want to say with that last video that I completely missed the perfect opportunity to do the blind and deaf cooking challenge. I think that challenge is so funny. I probably would have been a lot safer doing what I did in the last video if I would have had someone. After all that little random rambling, today's adventure, today's quest is about letting go. With the theme of like comfort zones and just moving on in life and just the period of life that I'm in, I think it's important that I talk about letting go because it's something that I've been, I don't want to say struggling with, because I have like a really, really good and healthy relationship with letting go. It's almost toxic how easy it is for me to let go of things. With my relationship with God and my journey with God, we've been working really hard to not only let things go, but also to understand why it's important to let those things go. It's easy to let something go and just obtain the same thing, but in a different version. It's easy to move on from something, but then go through the same cycle again because you never learned the lesson you were meant to learn. I wanted to talk about this as well because I know there's a lot of points that I need to say out loud to really process for myself coming into this new chapter of my life. The chapter that I'm in now is causing me to let go of my old habits and my old beliefs. The word I'm going to use that really pertains to what I'm about to say is cognitive dissonance. It is when you could recognize that your actions and the way you go about life don't match your morals and your beliefs. A lot of my beliefs were with good intention. I've always been a pretty loving person, even when I was being a terrible person. It's hard to communicate that or to even understand that about yourself when the actions that you're taking kind of go against that. While I've always believed in God, I had a period where I believed in astrology more than anything, and it was never my intention to get that into astrology or believe that deeply. But when you're longing to believe in something and not believing in the right things or yourself, you're gonna believe in the wrong thing. And I got deep into it to the point where God showed me a lot of the darkness of that path. That's why I stray so far away from it now. But also just because, like, that's just a way of living that gives people worldly answers. For me, I wanted a more spiritual, outlook on life, and I thought that's what I was doing by following worldly spirituality, and I was so wrong. That was simply just a way for people to capitalize off of spiritual beliefs. And going down that path, I held a lot of... What is with all these sirens today? Anytime I see or hear an ambulance, I pray about it. My mom kind of instilled that in me a little bit, because she would always pray when she saw an accident that happened. And now I just kind of do it anytime I see that there could possibly be danger to anybody, because I want them to be safe with God, regardless of who they are. Back on topic, the beliefs that I had, I was idolizing them. Like, I have to hold myself accountable, because I think that's one of the main things that really takes us away from God, is when we idolize worldly things, because those are the main things that are trying to take us from God. I idolized the ideas that I had. I idolized the knowledge that I had, just because I felt like I was superior to the average person, just because I was so deep into the stars and so deep into astrological signs and even Egyptian mythology. I not only idolized that information and those beliefs, but myself. I put myself to a higher tier than most people, and the things I used to say, I feel so goofy now, because it's like, ugh. I said them with so much confidence. I mentioned that specifically because that's one of the major things that I'm working on letting go. The engravement in my mind. Once you've gone deep into something, no matter what it is, it's hard to reprogram your mind. It's so important, and letting that go is a big way to do that. I've thanked God a million times for the knowledge that I gained with that path in my life and with all the paths I was on in that time period, because the knowledge that you gain definitely pertains to who you will become. Definitely shows me how easy it is to fall into a darkness in this world. It definitely helps me to have a better and stronger discernment about what is of God and what isn't, and that is so important, because that also helps you to discern what you should and shouldn't let go of. That anxiety we usually get with letting something go, God has really shown me so much darkness and so much of a path that isn't Him, that it's easy for me to discern when something isn't of Him. I don't necessarily regret anything that I've gone through or anything that I've been or any of the things that I've said. Actually, I take that back. I regret it a little bit. I've been feeling a little bit of regret lately, and shame and guilt. But that was only because of how it affected other people. I walked through this life thinking I knew everything when I knew nothing. I was hurting worse than the average person was, and I was projecting that onto people. It was also my responsibility to not be prideful about what I knew. That's where I find regret, is how I affected other people, and how some connections that I had have no room for redemption because of the actions that I took. And obviously that's all in God's time and everything like that. If something is meant to be, then it'll be. So regardless of what I did, it was inevitable. Still, just the pride that I had in who I was back then. And then now I'm like so shy and like just antisocial when I isolate myself so much, just because like I don't want to go into this world guns blazing and be saying all the wrong things. So I've just been in this period of isolating and really working on letting go of those beliefs and that energy of just being prideful, because it's so unhealthy to, one, be prideful, but also to be prideful of something that is not something to be proud of. Trigger warning, talking about intimacy and stuff, along with my sexual energy. This is something that's really hard for me to talk about now, but I used to have so much pride in talking about it. I used to have so much pride in sharing my journey with sex and with anything pertaining to that, because that's all I was known for, you know, that's all people wanted to hear from me, because majority of people sexualized me. A lot of girls looked up to me to know what to do in those situations, and I was so prideful about absolutely nothing that was important, nothing that I should have been talking about or sharing with so many people. I was so prideful about my journey with it, and now that I look back on that journey, I'm so shameful of it, because I have so many mistakes that I made and so many things that I wish I wouldn't have done, but also because that's the one thing, if I could go back and do differently, I would. So the fact that there was a point in my life where I was just like, you know what, yes, like this is what I'm out here doing, and you know, this is what you should do, like embarrassing. It's truly embarrassing, but it's okay, because a big major thing that I'm learning to do right now with letting go is forgive myself. God is really trying to tell me, let me know, because I chose a different path, because I chose to let go of those old desires, those old beliefs, those old wants, and give him the reins to give me what I truly deserve, I can be forgiven for that. In order for me to believe that I can be forgiven, I have to believe that I can forgive myself. A major part of letting something go is forgiving yourself for it. My biggest battle with letting things go, and also with forgiving myself lately, has been the guilt of feeling like regardless of if I forgive myself or not, the people that I hurt are not going to forgive me. The people that know me from the past are not going to forgive me. And I'm just here to say, who cares? Honestly, who cares? This is something that I'm so proud to have learned lately. Oh my God, thanks to my man, who just is the wisest man I've ever met, the most beautiful man of God. He just said something to me that was so beautiful, and it was that if someone that you have hurt, or someone that you have, you know, known in a past life of yours, has also healed and found God, they are not going to hold above you the things that you did. They've got a beautiful understanding of forgiveness and a beautiful understanding of being understanding. Anyone who's truly pure of heart and has your best interests at heart can see when you're hurting and making decisions out of that place of hurt. So anyone that couldn't forgive you or wants to hold you in that place of being stuck in the same person, what are their intentions really? Besides to keep you from outgrowing them. I just also want to point out, I know I say you, like I'm talking directly to you, trying to give you that advice, but that's not my intention with this. For me, it's more like God speaking through me, my inner voice speaking out. So when I'm saying you, I'm really talking to myself. I think a big thing with people not wanting you to change is the fact that they don't want to change, and seeing you doing better, seeing you wanting and going after better for yourself kind of makes them recognize, well, one, this person might outgrow me and my unwillingness to grow. Also, it makes them take a look at themselves, but they're not willing and ready to face the kinds of things you face, so when they look at themselves, they don't like what they see. Other people's insecurities being projected onto us when they don't want to forgive us for something. It's not necessarily that we hurt them and they can't heal from it. Everyone can heal from hurt. It's that they don't want to. This show I've been watching, one of the things that was said was, it's a choice to be broken. I got chills, not even just because it's cold, but just like because that statement, like hearing that out loud, it truly is a choice to stay in that place where it might be more comfortable to do what you desire, or it might be more comfortable to do what you're used to, or it might be more comfortable to feel constant guilt and shame because you feel like you don't deserve anything else. I just want to say that's not true. That's not true. If you really think you're comfortable in being unhappy, then you just don't know what you deserve. You just don't know what God has in store for you if you truly allow him to do what he needs to do. That's crazy. Hold on, side note, I smell some right now, and I just think it's important for me to point that out because I'm also in my journey of not smoking anymore. I smoked for the last almost 10 years of my life. That's a big part of letting go for me as well, is the beliefs that I had with that. I really convinced myself that I was so comfortable with it. I convinced myself that it was a medicine for me. I convinced myself that I need it, because all these things that we think we're comfortable with are what make us the most uncomfortable, because we would not have to try and explain them or validate them or just give reasons as to why we have to do them if they were really of us, and if they were really of God, and if they were in our best interest. One thing I've learned is when it's really of you, when you can really be confident because it's truly of you, you will not feel the need to explain it. I'm kind of jumping around a lot because I think there's a lot of points I want to make in this video, but just also a lot of energy that comes with letting things go. I mentioned earlier that I was so prideful when I believed in all the wrong things, and that's just something that, like with the video about me trying to find confidence, that's just something that I've been so confused about, because in this journey that I'm in now, I feel no need to really explain anything to anybody. Unless God moves me to say something, I don't open my mouth. I am a talker, but when it comes to the pride in what I know, I don't feel that anymore. I'm proud of myself for having come as far as I've had, for obtaining the knowledge that I've obtained, but as far as like just wanting to boast about it everywhere, I don't feel that. Part of it is probably fear that I will say the wrong things and that I will be giving a bad example of what God's child should look like. But part of that is also just when you really know that something isn't for you and of you, you don't need to defend it to anyone. I think when someone gets defensive, a big part of that is them being triggered or their energy being moved. And when you're really at peace with something within yourself, when you and God have worked through something so well that you just know what's up, you're not going to feel the need to defend that to anyone, even if they're trying to trigger you. And that's where inner peace comes in, and inner peace is a big thing you obtain when letting things go. You're still going to get triggered, but it's your reaction to things that, you know, determine whether or not you have peace within yourself. I guess in a way also this video is my testimony, because I'm talking about a lot of things that I never talk about, and just I'm talking about them from a different viewpoint than maybe the last time I've talked about them. I feel this way about almost everything having to do with who I've been in this life so far. Whether that be, I've mentioned my sex life, but I also want to relate that to my sexuality, because I was so traumatized sexually that I ran away from what I truly wanted and desired for myself, and I tried so hard to convince myself that I began battling other people, trying to defend it and trying to convince them as well. Sexuality is another thing for me, as well as the smoking, as well as the astrology stuff. Just almost everything that I found pride and confidence in was untrue to me. I liked indulging in it more because it was easier. And this path that I'm on now has not been easy at all. It's been hard. It's been a lot of emotional nights. It's been a lot of crying to God, asking him what to do. It's been a lot of letting go of things that I felt so strongly about that I thought they made my personality. But letting go of that and learning to understand that all these things were not what made me helped me to come back to me and help me to love me again. So I just talked about a lot in this video, and I don't want this video to be too long, but I'm grateful that I was able and moved and confident enough to say some of the things that I've said, because it's truly a testimony of how even if something makes you uncomfortable, making that jump can be the greatest choice you ever make. And I pray that you can listen with an open mind and open heart and not judge. With this next journey in my life that I'm coming to, I am stepping into confidence to be me. I'm grateful that since the last video I made talking about wanting to be confident in myself, I've gained a lot of confidence, because just wanting better for yourself opens that door. With everything said in this video, change is beautiful. It's uncomfortable and it's scary, but once you get the hang of it, you will be so confident in knowing that you are making the right choices for yourself. I pray that you enjoyed this video, and also I just wanted to say, I took out my septum ring, and I just thought, you know, that was like a good example of maybe letting something go, because part of me was like, oh, what if I regret it and want it back? Because I've always done that with my piercings, like, oh, that was so cute, I shouldn't have took it out. But then, like, if I had it again, I would just take it out again. The theme of the video is not only letting go, but change, because you have to let go in order to welcome change into your life. Know that I'm not saying any of these things to belittle anyone or to shame you for your lifestyle. And with that being said, again, this life is an adventure.
Toodles!